Gojo Satoru must die. Now, before you all just grab your pitchforks and come for me, hear me out. For the longest time, I have been labeled a fanboy, a dick rider, if you will, a meat gobbler, a Gojo glazer. You get the message. I've been labeled many things as far as it comes from my sort of love for Gojo. But over the past 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, I've given this fight with Gojo and Sukuna a lot of thought. And the only outcome that makes sense for me and for the rest of the cast and the series as a whole is Gojo Satoru must die. Now, I know you're probably sat there thinking, what the fuck? Leave my man alone. He's just only got out the box. And I agree. My original theory for Gojo throughout the series was based on Gege's former statement of out of the first years and Gojo, either one dies and the rest survive, or all but one dies. And I always theorized that it would be Gojo. He would be the last man standing. He would be this tragic hero who was unable to save anyone, and that's the regret that he would live and die with. And throughout his life, he would parallel the Gojo's past arc of not being able to save his best friend Geto, and that would just sort of extend on to his students and the people he's trying to save right now. But that theory has, it's still there for sure, but that theory has definitely left my mind, and I've changed my opinion and my theories based on hints and plot points that I've picked up on and have been laid out throughout the series, and I've noticed more and more throughout rereads over the past couple of weeks. Starting with Yuji. Yuji was said by Gojo to one day inherit Sukuna's technique, and as of the current chapters, Yuji is not even close to being at that point right now. We had a slight hint a couple of chapters ago, and that's about it. And if Gojo kills Sukuna within the next coming chapters, it's pretty easy to say Gojo would then also to go on to just absolutely steamroll Kenjaku and whoever else is hiding and trying to fight alongside Kenjaku. And the same thing goes for Yuta Akatsu. My man Yuta was the OG protagonist of the series and a distant relative of Gojo, who stated to be second only to the man himself. But on top of this, Yuta himself has also said he will be the one to kill Kenjaku. And again, should Gojo survive within this fight against Sukuna, he will once again just easily walk through this fight and easily steamroll Kenjaku, and again, whoever else is lined up by Kenjaku's side as an ally. And the only way forward for these moments to be paid off that have been hinted at and foreshadowed throughout the entire series is for Gojo Satoru to die. And that event there spurs on the motivation for these two characters of Yuji and Yuta to have their moments that have been foreshadowed within the series for the longest time. And it's not just these two are the main ones, but there is others in there that would all fall away should Gojo survive this fight. For example, Kashimo's fight with Sukuna would never come to fruition. Maki getting her chance to have a shining moment outside of her awakening. There's plenty of other characters in here that have moments that are coming and can't really happen while Gojo is on the scene, unfortunately. They can't rise to the villain that they are fighting while the pinnacle of power and the ceiling of power is still walking around with his bright blue eyes shining. But you might argue that Gojo doesn't need to die, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe Sukuna maims him and just leaves him in a similar state to All Might was left in My Hero Academia. And again, I have to say, I don't think that this would work. Sukuna has never been one to spare his opponents or someone he's fought. You could argue that, yeah, sure, this fight between Gojo and Sukuna is being a bit strange. There's been this hint of love from Yorozu's past thing, and Sukuna seems to be really having a good time with this. They both seem to be having a really good time right now, but when you look at Sukuna's past opponents, Ryu, Jogo, Mahoraga, Yorozu, and now Gojo, he's had his fair share of fights within the series, and every time he's brutalized his opponents, burning Jogo to a crisp, turning Ryu's head into a slinky, having Mahoraga slice Yorozu stern to stem. And honestly, we've now come to Gojo. Unlike the rest here, is pretty unkillable. We've literally seen this dude be stabbed in the head, torn stern from stem. And the only reason he came back is because the knife that stabbed him in the head wasn't a cursed tool. The only way to get rid of Gojo for an absolute fact is to remove that head or destroy that head. And if Sukuna is going to take Gojo out, he's going to make sure that Gojo does not come back. He has that killing instinct, and once he's engaged in combat, he is locked in. And for all of these reasons, it's why I'm now in the firm belief and I'm at peace with the fact that Gojo Satoru must die. I mean, our characters like Yuji, Yuta, Maki, Hikari, and even Kashimo, they all have moments right now that have been foreshadowed within the most recent chapters and have all been played out and hyped up to be shown. And for that to all be shown, unfortunately, Gojo must fall. And I get, yeah, it's a bit of a cliche trope within the final arc of having the student sensei tragically go, but I'm hoping Gege can take a play on this arc, on this trope, and turn it on its head with something different and something unique. But again, it could be a crazy plot twist that none of us saw coming, and it could be something totally different. But that is everything from me. Let me know what you guys think of this little crazy crackpot theory in the comments down below. And also, next month on the 27th, I'll be hitting 1 whole year on YouTube, which that's a long time. A whole year on YouTube on this channel is actually crazy. So in honor of that and in celebration of that, I'm setting you guys a challenge. I want to see if we can get to 20k subscribers before then. So if you haven't already, now's your chance to subscribe to be in the pre-20k club on the channel and get yourself some maximum PP energy. But that is everything from me. I will catch you guys all in the next one. Much love, big kisses, peace.